Welcome to Bear's Library. It's been a while. Today we have something a little different. We have an essay read by Kim B. of Irrelevantly Relevant, and she's going to talk to us about hot dogs.
Hi, it's Kim. You probably know me in the chats as Always Createful. If you follow my blog, you know that I blog under Irrelevantly Relevant. A week or so ago, my friend Claire, whose channel you're watching this on right now, she put a poll up on her YouTube channel asking if a hot dog is a sandwich. I've seen this same topic debated so many times. But I decided as a culinarian, maybe it was time for me to take a deeper look into this. Now, I don't think I'll make a determination, and I really don't set out to change your opinion. I plan on talking about the definitions, maybe talk some food science, and, of course, handle the whole thing with humor. Because, admit it, hot dogs are funny. And watching someone eat one, well, that can be even funnier. Now, let me start by just being frank. Or should I say frankfurter? I'm not a lover of hot dogs. I can have one or two. I'm good for like 6 months. My late husband, he could not get enough. When I do have one, I want it slathered in chili and onions, or smothered with grilled onions and sauerkraut. I actually prefer a nice grilled bratwurst or some andouille to a tube steak. The one thing I can now appreciate is they still sell the buns 8 to a package, and most of the Franks also now come 8 to a package. So we don't have any more of that dilemma of, what do I do with these last 2 questionable meat tubes? First, let's talk about the definition of a sandwich. And for the sake of this, I'm only using the definition of the noun version. Merriam-Webster defines a sandwich as, first definition, 2 or more slices of bread or a split roll, having a filling in between. Second definition, 1 slice of bread covered with food. Dictionary.com has this: 2 or more slices of bread with a layer of meat, fish, cheese, etc. between them. Their second definition is a partially slit bread roll, pita, etc. with a filling. The Cambridge Dictionary offers this for us: 2 pieces of bread with food, such as cheese, salad, or meat, between them. So, all of those sources seem basically in agreement as to what constitutes a sandwich. Then we have the definition from the USDA. 2 slices of bread, or the top and bottom sections of a sliced bun that encloses meat or poultry. I have some issues with this for all of you smart people over at the USDA. By your definition, a grilled cheese or a PB&J are not a sandwich. What the heck are they then? What have I been eating all my life? The USDA actually labels hot dogs and hamburgers as examples of sandwich-type products. That's like saying tofu is a meat-type substance. When most food experts try to nail down whether a hot dog is a sandwich or not, they refer back to the USDA's definition. Now it's known that the USDA's job is to label our nation's meat, poultry, and egg supply correctly. They also do not include under their sandwich umbrella things such as a burrito, a wrap, or a hot dog. If you only take the other definitions, then a hot dog is a sandwich, and so is a burger. We could even argue that with the definition of an open-faced sandwich, that a pizza could be defined as a sandwich. Okay, maybe we're going to save that for a later debate. So, how did the hot dog even come to be? As hotly debated as to whether a hot dog is a sandwich, there's just as much controversy over the birth of the Frankfurter. According to many, the city of Frankfurt, Germany, usually takes credit for the invention. They even had a celebration in 1987 for the 500th birthday of the Frank. Then we have those Frank-loving foodies over in Vienna, Austria. They claim to be the originators. They use as their proof that a Frankfurter or a hot dog is also commonly called a wiener, and the city is called Wien in the Austrian-German language. Others state that a butcher, Johann Jorhaner, from Coburg, Germany, in the late 1600s, invented a sausage called a dachshund, or a little dog. We can most likely be assured that the item we now consume very likely evolved from a variety of common sausages, which were then brought to America by generations of immigrant butchers from many of the European countries. Now, it's also often disputed how the wiener came to be known as a hot dog. The National Hot Dog and Sausage Council, the NHDSC, gives the most likely scenario with Johann's canine-inspired nickname for the long, skinny Frankfurters. It was then brought to America with the Germans in the 1800s, and over time, it became known what we have now. We began to see the word hot dog in college magazines in the 1890s. In 1894, there's a record of dog wagons selling hot dogs to the students in the dorms. Students even joked about what the tubular meat was made of. I'm definitely not going to go into how they're manufactured, which is probably why I prefer an all-beef Frank when I do happen to have one. And that may still even have some questionable bits and pieces. If you're really curious, just look for famous quotes from that movie, The Great Outdoors. Then there's another story about vendors selling hot dogs at a polo club in New York in 1901. They were saying things like, "Get your dachshund dogs while they're red hot." A New York Journal cartoonist, Tad Dorgan, witnessed this, and he drew a scene of a barking sausage in a bun. He apparently didn't know how to spell dachshund, though, so he just called them hot dogs. Unfortunately, the historians have never been able to locate that cartoon. Even states have gotten in on this debate. The California state tax laws have the following wording: hot dog and hamburger sandwiches served from sandwich stands or booths. New York states, if it's served on something remotely bread-like, it's a sandwich. New York does not discriminate in what they consider a sandwich. The following is a description of their state tax policy. Sandwiches include cold and hot sandwiches of every kind that are prepared and ready to be eaten, whether made on bread, on bagels, on rolls, in pitas, in wraps, or otherwise, and regardless of filling or number of layers. A sandwich can be as simple as a buttered bagel or a roll, or as elaborate as a 6-foot toasted submarine sandwich. I do take issue with a buttered bagel or a roll. That's just not a sandwich. In their examples of taxable sandwiches, they even include a burrito, a gyro, open-faced sandwiches, and a hot dog. Last year, the Food 52 editorial team interviewed 1,000 people before the annual 4th of July hot dog eating contest in an attempt to try to settle this debate. Of the ones surveyed, 56.8% believe that a hot dog is indeed a sandwich. They then broke those numbers down even more. 63.5% were baby boomers. This was compared to 60% of all of the male participants and 50% of the Gen Zers. It turns out that 75.2% of all of those interviewed agreed that a hamburger is also a sandwich. The Food 52 team then took all this information back home. And that's where things began to heat up some. Some stated that there should be 2 separate pieces of bread to qualify as a sandwich. Food 52 columnist Ella Quitner said, technically speaking, I suppose a hot dog is a sandwich. But emotionally speaking, it's something else entirely. If I were jonesing for an enormous sandwich and someone gave me a hot dog, I would be furious. I hear you, Ella. The staff at D-Scout, a research company, decided that they would put out a call to research participants on this issue. In less than 48 hours, they had almost 600 people respond. Their numbers were definitely different from the Food 52 team. Of their participants, 61% said that a hot dog is not a sandwich. So then they decided they needed to break down their numbers a bit more also. They also found age to be a factor, with 67% of retirees stating it is a sandwich. But 63% of the students disagreed. They also found that location may have an influence. In Illinois, which is home to D-Scout, 72% said it's not a sandwich. California, 55% stated it's not a sandwich. They noticed that structure was another factor. 65% of the respondents cited a bread plus meat form factor. Some even compared a hot dog to a taco. Come on now, let's not go crazy here. Some focused on the fact that the bun is split and not separate. Okay, how hard is it to take apart a hot dog bun? Also, in order to better understand the respondents' opinions, they were asked to share their thoughts in a short video while eating a hot dog. So maybe some mustard on the chin had a little influence there. In 2015, the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council stated that hot dogs are not sandwiches. They actually stated, a hot dog is an exclamation of joy, a food, a verb describing one showing off, and even an emoji. It is truly a category unto its own. Limiting the hot dog's significance by saying it's just a sandwich is like calling the Dalai Lama just a guy. Some of the people felt that condiments only went with either a hot dog or a sandwich. I tend to agree. As much as I love chili or sauerkraut on my hot dog, I don't want either one on my sandwich. Well, unless I'm having a Reuben, and then bring on the sauerkraut. Hot dogs also tend to be eaten in more social settings than sandwiches. We eat them at the ballpark, at a backyard barbecue, even fairs and festivals. People also tend to view a sandwich as sometimes a bit more healthy option. We can opt for lower carb breads, low sodium, and low fat meat options. And basically, you add some lettuce and tomato, you've just put a small tossed salad in there. A sandwich also doesn't have to be cooked. I mean, have you ever pulled a Frank straight from the fridge and just chowed down? No, thank you. Sides also can make a difference. With a sandwich, I will usually opt for some chips, unless I'm in a restaurant setting. Then it may be soup, potato salad, or a fruit cup. With a hot dog, I want some fries, tater tots, some onion rings. We also tend to think of hot dogs as special. We can go and fix a sandwich any time of the night or day, but we have to put forth some effort to make a hot dog. Now, let's talk about why a hot dog is not really a sandwich. A lot of the experts and others are still hesitant about getting off the fence and declaring that a hot dog is a sandwich. People who tend to favor letting the dogs out, well, they're just a bit more adamant about their conviction. Phil McCann, Vice President of Marketing at Nathan's Famous, states, "A hot dog is its own unique thing, a cylindrical shaped protein that sits in a bun and not a sandwich." Nathan's is the company which hosts the annual July 4th hot dog contest. He goes on to say, "A hot dog certainly is deserved of its own category, the same way a burger deserves its own. Sandwiches have their own category as well, and that category does not include hot dogs or burgers." Joey Chestnut, the 14-time winner of the beloved eating contest, stated in his Twitter in 2017 that he doesn't endure the gross realities of competitive eating for just any old witch. He also stated that he wanted it to be known that the hot dog stands free and independent of the tyranny of the sandwich. Well said, Joey. It's been said that Americans spend more than $7.5 billion, yes, $billion, at U.S. markets on dogs and sausages, and that was just in 2021. Eric Mittenthal, president of the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council, states, "Franks have outgrown generic sandwich classification. Perhaps at one time its importance could be limited by forcing it into a larger sandwich category, but that time has passed." Mittenthal also argues the bread factor. He gives the example that we call it a hot dog when it's on a bun and when it's not. He goes on to say that the bun is irrelevant to the nature of the hot dog, and therefore it should not be considered a sandwich. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. This is the strongest argument that I've heard. Phil McCann with Nathan's also brings up an issue of semantics. He stated, "The sandwich was supposedly invented in 1762 by John Montagu, the 4th Earl of Sandwich. Now, he was known to have a love of parlor card games, so he made a request of his kitchen staff to prepare some sliced meat in between 2 slices of bread. That way, he could hold it in one hand while he continued to play cards. So, a hot dog would not fit that definition since the meat's tubular and it's not sliced." McCann goes further by saying, "If the sandwich was invented in 1762, why wouldn't they have called the hot dog a sandwich when it was invented 100 years later, if it really is a sandwich?" I think most of us can agree that language is important. Richard Pink, the co-owner of Pink's Hot Dogs, agrees. His parents began the hot dog-focused restaurant in Los Angeles in 1939. Needless to say, it's pretty much a landmark in the city. It should also not come as a shock, well, maybe it will, that the city's residents consume more hot dogs than any other city in the U.S. Can you believe that they consume approximately 30 million pounds a year? He also agrees that language is important. Go ask someone to describe a hot dog, he says. Their description will probably not come close to what your thoughts are of a sandwich. Same if you ask them to describe a sandwich. I really doubt that people are going to describe a tubular piece of meat snuggled in a bun with a variety of condiments. So it's easy to define what a sandwich is, as opposed to what a sandwich is not. A grilled cheese? Definitely a sandwich. I may have to do another blog just on a grilled cheese. A BLT? Yes, please, to a sandwich with bacon. Even one of my favorites, a PB&J, is a sandwich. Since I decided the other day to blog about this debate of whether a hot dog is a sandwich, my daughter and I have brought up other questions regarding sandwiches. Like if I purchase cookies, let's just say Oreos, it clearly states that it is a sandwich cookie. They even say it in their commercials. I know that the cream filling is sandwiched between two cookies. But if we can't even decide if a hot dog is a sandwich, how can we possibly have sandwich cookies? By definition alone, there is no bread. They're cookies. And don't even get me started on different types of bread. If I want my tuna salad on honey wheat, am I still using bread, since now the sugar percentage is higher than what constitutes true bread according to the FDA? So what am I now putting my tuna salad on? A pastry? People, I have questions, and I know that we cannot answer them all here. Some are just going to have to be saved for another blog post or another day. Like, why did that little girl Debbie call that oatmeal thing a pie? I know the definition of a sandwich would include a hot dog and a hamburger. I also do not personally think of a hot dog as a sandwich. But please, can we at least consider giving them their own food category? Like hot dog, conveyor of deliciousness and condiments. Maybe even their own day. I mean, we have Meatless Monday and Taco Tuesday. So how about Hot Dog Hump Day or Wacky Wiener Wednesday? Okay, everyone, when I wrote this, I went back and read that, and I thought, oh, Kim, that was bad. That was really, really bad. But hopefully it made you smile or gave you a little laugh. And if you say it to someone, it may just start a really interesting discussion. No matter which side of the debate you're on, remember, food's meant to be enjoyed and relished, or even covered in relish. So go out there and enjoy your hot dog or your tubular sandwich. Next Wednesday, tell someone Happy Hot Dog Hump Day or have a great Wacky Wiener Wednesday. You may just make their day, or at least make them smile. Like I said at the beginning of this, hot dogs are funny. Thanks everyone for listening. I really had a great time writing this blog and reading this. And I want to thank Claire and her YouTube channel and her poll for being the inspiration of this. And I also need to thank Claire for always supporting me and always encouraging me to step outside of my little box, my comfort zone. Otherwise, I could have never read this. So thank you very much, Claire. And since Claire has given me a platform to share my blog, let me do some YouTube-y things for her. If you're watching this right now and you haven't subscribed, why not? Go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Ring that bell. You'll get all of the notifications anytime Claire has a new video or a stream. And she's got some great content. And while you're at it, hit the thumbs up on the like for this. It really helps. And maybe put a comment down in the comment section. That helps Claire get up in the algorithm. Plus, we kind of like the feedback. If you want to hear something else, or you want me to blog about another food topic, let me know. I'm open to all suggestions. I'm also open to any criticism, as long as it's constructive. Just don't throw hot dogs at me. So, until next time, again, I'm Kim, always createful, and always irrelevantly relevant. Thanks, everyone. Bye.